How's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. For today's video, I'm going to be discussing the 2019 Hellcat Redeye. Now, Dodge released 3 new Challenger models this past week, but there was one in particular that completely stole the show, the 2019 Hellcat Redeye. Now, is it possible that this is Dodge's response to the upcoming GT500? Well, I'm going to give you all the details on this new release, and I'm going to tell you what I think. So let's get started. So before I dive into these details about the new Redeye Hellcat, let me first give you a background on what Dodge has been up to. Before the reveal, in typical Dodge fashion, they released this teaser video on their YouTube channel. We see a Challenger driving real fast off-road, and then a strange code shows up on the screen. The video then ends with "coming soon." So what was Dodge up to this time? As it turned out, Dodge had 3 new Challenger models to reveal. They held an event in Chelsea, Michigan to show off the new vehicles. The first one was a Scat Pack wide body. Now this is basically the same wide body kit we've seen on other Challenger models like the Demon and the Hellcat wide body. So bringing it to the Scat Pack seems like a smart idea. In addition, they've also given it a Hellcat hood, which I think looks pretty sharp. The next model up was the refreshed Hellcat. We'd actually seen this model before in a teaser image, but now it was officially revealed and they were going to give us all the information on it. The biggest change is the new hood. It has what looks like 2 nostrils or snorkels. Now at first it looks a little bit strange, but if you look back to Dodge's history, you can see this style of hood on their cars from the 70s. So they wanted to pay tribute to that by including it on the new model. But this modern interpretation is not just for looks. It makes the car more powerful, bringing it to 717 horsepower. That's definitely a nice improvement, but the next vehicle they revealed completely stole the show.
So without further ado, let's introduce the final car. It is our 2019 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Redeye.
At first, this looks like the same Hellcat we saw before, but there's one key difference, and I want you to hear what the head of Dodge, Steve Beam, has to say about it.
My line is that it's a Hellcat that's been possessed by the demon. Underneath the hood, 797 horsepower.
Say what?
That's right, Dodge has put the Demon engine in the Hellcat, and it makes a whopping 797 horsepower, just 3 shy of 800. So I'm sure you're probably wondering, why would Dodge put the sacred Demon engine in a Hellcat? And what does the Redeye trim have to offer? Well, let's take a closer look. Like Steve was saying earlier, the Redeye is a Hellcat that's possessed by the demon. It basically has the same engine, but with a slightly different calibration. The new engine makes 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. Now keep in mind, this is with 91 octane pump gas. It doesn't run on racing fuel like the Demon, but if we compare the cars based off of the 91 octane pump gas, we can see that the Demon is only 11 horsepower more than the Redeye, and the difference in torque is just 10 pound-feet. Now obviously on racing fuel, the Demon can make 840 horsepower and 770 pound-feet of torque. But considering most Demon owners are running on regular pump gas, the Redeye is only about 1.4% less powerful, which when you have almost 800 horsepower is nothing. This car can go 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, the quarter mile in just 10.8 seconds. And just imagine how much better it will do when people put drag radials on it. What separates this Redeye from the Hellcat is that it has 25 major component upgrades from the Demon. A larger supercharger, strengthened connecting rods and pistons, high-speed valve train, you get the idea. But here's the thing, the Hellcat Redeye looks almost identical to the regular Hellcat. So how can you spot a Redeye out in public? Well, the Redeye, of course. All over the car, there are emblems sporting a Hellcat logo with a red eye. I mean, Dodge really pays attention to detail, and that's what I love about them. The fender badges, the engine, the startup screen, the key fob, and even by the vents, you will find the Hellcat logo with the red eye. So it's only a matter of time before regular Hellcat owners up-badge their car with a simple red Sharpie marker. But seriously, it is pretty cool that Dodge went the extra mile and put those details in. Now, as far as transmission goes, you can only get an 8-speed automatic, which is a little disappointing, but it does make sense considering it is the Demon engine. Plus, the 8-speed automatic will be faster. But here's the real question. Is the Hellcat Redeye Dodge's response to the upcoming GT500? So think about it this way. When Dodge released the Demon, it was a tremendous success, and it really shook things up in the car world. but the only problem was they built it for just 1 year. So now they have to find something to compete with the upcoming GT500, and I think that's what they're doing with this new Hellcat Redeye. Let me explain. As of this recording, we don't know how much horsepower the GT500 will make. All we know is that it will be 700 plus. Now Dodge realizes that they need a competitor for the GT500. They have the Demon, but it's no longer in production. Plus, if the GT500 were to make more horsepower than the Hellcat, it would become the most powerful production V8 car on the market, since the Demon is no longer being produced. So what does Dodge do? They release the Hellcat Redeye, which takes the Hellcat from this to this. A 797 horsepower beast that will be the most powerful production V8 on the market and ready to take on the GT500. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Venom kills demons. Venom kills everything.
If you saw my last video, we're still not 100% sure what Jim Owens meant by this statement, but he did reveal this important piece of information that the GT500 will have different levels of performance. So even after Dodge releases the new Hellcat Redeye, there is still a possibility that the GT500 could outperform it, along with the Demon. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough information to know how far Ford is going to take it. I still believe that Ford is going to blow us away with the next GT500. I mean, just look at how giddy Jim Owens is talking about it.
We're gonna be like really blown away by what it is capable of.
But now that Dodge has released this new Hellcat Redeye, it looks like Ford will need to change the title from 700 plus to 700 plus plus plus. I mean, we're only 3 horsepower away from 800. But remember, horsepower isn't everything, and even if the GT500 doesn't become the most powerful production V8 on the market, it still will be an impressive vehicle. But until then, Dodge is killing it with this new lineup, and I can't wait to see them in person. So what are my final thoughts on the Hellcat Redeye? Well, to be honest with you, I'm shocked that Dodge didn't really promote this car like they did the Demon. I mean, this is a big deal. We're talking about 797 horsepower. I think people that were ready to get the GT500 are really going to consider this release from Dodge. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are wondering, do I still want to get the GT500 after seeing this release? You know, I really like this car, but I'm still going to hold off for the GT500. I still have faith that Ford is going to shock us, and even if it isn't the most powerful muscle car on the market, that doesn't mean it's not going to perform well. So what do you guys think about the Hellcat Redeye? Do you think it's going to be a success for Dodge? Will it beat the GT500? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Neo Auto, and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to keep up to date with the latest car news, and I'll see you real soon.
Meow.